Right now, the final push to Election Day. How the presidential campaigns are trying to close things out.
Plus, how Sikh voters deal with the tensions around immigration and their thoughts on the upcoming election. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Monday. I'm Kyrie Unley.
I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for joining us. Savannah Brito here at the desk with us to kick things off the 6 a.m. hour.
Yes. I'm not noticing the time difference too much today. So I guess that's good. Yeah. I feel like the morning's moving along for me pretty much.
Yesterday evening is when I noticed it. This morning,
I mean, the
earlier sunrises, sure, those are welcome, but the earlier sunsets, I can't stand when we get to this time of year.
No, it's just like you have to do everything before like 5 o'clock.
I know, it's weird, especially for us. We usually don't operate when the sun is down in the evening. So I hope you're dealing with the time change just fine. We have a lot to get to. Election Day forecast. I mean, we have some potential for some rain, even some storms over the next couple of days.
Yeah, unfortunately, we could be tracking even some stronger storms for Election Day. That'll be out there tomorrow evening and then into the overnight hours. That's at the earliest when the widespread rain is going to move in, but the severe threat mid-morning up until mid-afternoon tomorrow. So actually a little earlier than when we usually or typically see severe weather. That threat, Madison and then northward, where the better chances are. Temperatures are going to stay very mild. That's the case already this morning. A temperature currently at 61. We do have some visibility issues, some fog that's mainly northwest of Madison, though. Winds are going to increase through the day as well, up to 10 miles per hour by 10 a.m. and then by lunchtime, those are going to be pushing about 10 to 15 miles per hour gusts. So those will be stronger out there. The reason why our temperatures are warm this morning, we have a warm front that's sitting just to our southwest. As that does track closer to our area, though, all this heavy rain that's been affecting areas south of here, that portion is going to move back in, especially tonight into tomorrow. That's when heavy rain is going to return. But because of that warm front, that could play a factor or at least a little bit of a role in maybe some stronger storms tomorrow. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Well, with Election Day tomorrow, Wisconsin being a crucial swing state, the campaigns continue until the very end.
Former President Barack Obama visited Milwaukee yesterday. It marked his second visit to Wisconsin this campaign cycle. It comes after both presidential candidates held rallies in Milwaukee on Friday night. And the former president chose to appeal to undecided voters.
For those of you who are still making up your minds out there, do not give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt because he was on a reality show. And certainly do not give him credit for an economy that he inherited. There is only one candidate who has offered serious ideas about how to drive down prices and make this economy work for everybody, and that is Kamala Harris.
The former president also talked about Harris's plans for the economy, health care, women's rights, and immigration.
Meanwhile, former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also made a stop in Wisconsin. Kennedy Jr. dropped out of the presidential race earlier in the cycle. Now he's backing the Trump-Vance ticket. Over the weekend, he stopped in Rice Lake and Milwaukee. He encouraged voters to vote for Trump despite his name being on the Wisconsin ballot.
Oh, if you still have to vote, my name is going to be on that ballot, but I do not want you to vote for me. I need you to vote for Donald Trump because that's the only way that I'm going to get to Washington, D.C.
Last Tuesday, the Supreme Court rejected an emergency appeal to remove Kennedy from Wisconsin ballots. In Marquette Law School's final poll, Kennedy received 5% among likely voters. Tulsi Gabbard, Danica Patrick, and Sage Steele also stopped in Milwaukee on behalf of Trump.
In this week's For the Record, political reporter Will Keneally spoke with both Republicans and Democrats to see how they feel about the final push toward Election Day, specifically looking at each party's fight on the ground and how the landscape in Wisconsin is looking.
Our ground game's very strong. We've got over 41 offices between the party and the various groups that are trying to help the president. There are hundreds and hundreds of people out on doors, millions of doors knocked.
We do a lot of things well in Wisconsin, but hitting the doors, doing the reach out for people, I don't think there's a state in the union that does better. So this is how we win races.
Republicans and Democrats agree that the effort to get out the vote will continue up until the polls close. New this morning, Sun Prairie police say one person is dead after a collision. It happened last night around 8 o'clock near the Prairie Athletic Club. Witnesses say a vehicle hit a person sitting in the road. The victim died at the scene. The driver is not hurt and is cooperating with investigators. Police initially closed off some roads in the area, but they are all now back open.
In other local news, 2 people are dead and 1 is injured after a 3-vehicle crash in the village of Windsor. Dane County Sheriff's Office says the crash happened yesterday. The Sheriff's Office says 2 vehicles were traveling northbound on US 51 when one crashed into the other, causing that vehicle to veer into the southbound lane. That's when another vehicle struck the car. The 23-year-old driver and his passenger died as a result. First responders transported the driver who caused the crash to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
In Oak Creek, as part of Sunday service, Sikhs at an Oak Creek temple enjoyed snacks and discussion of their religion. Talks of politics, though, is discouraged there at the temple. But the tensions around the topic of immigrants in America still loom. And at this Oak Creek temple, white supremacists killed 6 people and injured 4 others in a mass shooting in 2012. So they're remaining vigilant. One Sikh voter who immigrated from India to Milwaukee in 1968 says he takes his right to vote seriously.
People are dying to have this right. So become citizens of this country and have a vote.
Wisconsin is home to around 5,000 Sikhs. Total population in the U.S. is around 200,000.
Now to Iowa. A recent poll shows Vice President Harris surpassing former President Trump. It comes as a surprise as it's a state where Trump won easily in 2016 and 2020. This is according to a poll released by Des Moines Register. The Register's pollster, J. Ann Selzer, says that likely women voters are responsible for the turnaround.
And then we see the same things happening here, with particular note to women who are voting for Harris in large numbers. And that's driven by a big gap with women age 65 and over. It's more than a 2-to-1 ratio, not even close among women 65 and over.
The polls show Harris leading 47% to 44%.
This election could have major implications beyond our borders. In the West Bank, many Israelis who built communities on occupied Palestinian territory believe a Trump presidency would be good for Israel. Many settlements, though, are considered illegal under international law, but during the Trump administration declared the settlements were not illegal.
Former administration had a much stronger bond between the U.S. and Israel. Right now, the bond is more questionable. It's not clear, are you with us or are you with us up until a certain line?
A recent poll found that 66% of Israelis would prefer Trump, while 17% prefer Harris. All of this while Israel continues fighting in both Gaza and Lebanon.
And in Gaza, large crowds turned out for the first flour distribution in 5 months. The UN says the bags came from Turkey's disaster agency. This week, the UN said the situation in northern Gaza is apocalyptic. That's due to the lack of food and health services. Israel last week voted to ban the UN agency UNRWA from operating in Israel.
Wendy's is making some changes coming up here. The fast food chain announced it will be closing 140 restaurants, but it plans to open an equal number of new locations in other areas. They say restaurants closing are outdated and underperforming. This is in addition to the 100 that closed back in May. Still, the overall number of Wendy's isn't shrinking. The chain is opening around 300 updated locations.
It's November, and that means the Thanksgiving Day Parade is almost here. The balloons for the 98th parade got their test flight at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Take a look at this here. The annual Balloon Fest flight test is the opportunity to take balloons out on a field test and to catch a sneak peek at new balloons. Macy's added 6 new and revamped ones to the line this year. Those, along with some familiar faces, take flight November 28th.
Always cool to see.
Yes.
Those balloons for the Thanksgiving tradition.
Yes, I would love to see this in person one day, but it just goes to show how close Thanksgiving really is now.
I know. What, it's less than 4 weeks away?
Yeah, are you prepared?
Oh, not even close.
Oh.
No, you?
I'll say I don't have to really worry about it. I'm just showing up to families and I come to eat.
Must
That's
be
it.
Nice.
Yes, I know you're the chef though, so you got to get ready.
All right. Let's take a look at what's coming up in your First Warn forecast. Hey there, Savannah.
Hey guys, aside of widespread showers that move back in tonight, the other focal point being that warm front that'll keep us warm tonight that could actually play a role in maybe some stronger storms tomorrow. We'll talk about that coming up.
Plus, we're talking turkey in the 608 this morning, what we still need for our Thanksgiving basket drive, and how you can help.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Updy, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We know what Joan Balwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Balwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
We've had enough of this crap from Eric Hovde.
We're tired of his lies.
Hovde spent $100 million on his garbage attack ads.
Smearing Tammy Baldwin and trying to buy our Senate seat.
But we know Tammy Baldwin.
She's protected our jobs.
She's taken on the pharmaceutical companies.
And she's leading the fight to restore Roe v. Wade.
So Eric Hovde, take your lies back to California.
Wisconsin's not for sale.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
All right, we're back, seeing what's going on in the 608 today, talking about Thanksgiving, which is just 3 weeks from Thursday. And we need your help in this time to feed other families in our area in the 608 over the holiday.
Josh Sprider is here in studio with how you can make that positive impact. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So we're talking turkey this morning because Thanksgiving is officially 3 weeks from Thursday, and we need help getting groceries for thousands of Dane County families ahead of Turkey Day. For the past 36 years, the Goodman Community Center Thanksgiving Basket Drive has been a tradition tradition, with many long-serving staff, volunteers, and their children returning year after year. News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of this event. Each year, we hear from families about how meaningful their Thanksgiving basket is to them. And with the unprecedented need the Goodman Center is seeing in their pantry, these baskets are going to matter more than ever this year. More than 4,000 families registered for everything needed to prepare a traditional holiday meal. That is more than 25,000 Dane County residents, including more than 10,000 children. So that puts it into perspective, folks. So here's what is needed this year: 4,000 frozen turkeys between 10 and 12 pounds, 8,000 cans of veggies, 4,000 boxes of mac and cheese, 4,000 gravy, any kind, 4,000 cans of cranberry sauce, 4,000 broth, any kind, 4,000 stuffing, any kind, 4,000 bottles of vegetable oil, and 4,000 aluminum roaster pans.
Anything else?
No. That's a lot of numbers, isn't it?
It
so
is.
We know that's a lot of information, some big numbers, so we need your help in making this happen. Donations can be dropped off at the Goodman Community Center Monday through Friday, the 18th through the 22nd, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Goodman Gym. Then on Saturday and Sunday, November 23rd and 24th at the Wabisa Street location from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you want to drop off even sooner, that is no problem. You can stop by the Goodman Center's Ironworks building any day this month from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. However, the Goodman Center is asking you to please save those frozen turkey donations until the week of the 18th. Right. All of this information can be found up on channel3000.com. Remember, we also accept those financial donations. They can buy things in bulk. And there are some other things, like you think of like the dinner rolls, some of that other stuff they already have, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's why we want to stick to the list that we just gave you. And again, all of that's up on our website. 4,000 families, 10,000 kids. I mean, that's a lot of folks that we want to feed this holiday.
Yes, and just make that holiday seem seamless for them.
Well, and we know, like growing up too, like I always remember those traditions, right? Like that's a big deal for these families to be able to provide for their kids, and it's something that they're always going to remember. So you can have a role in this if you donate.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Can't do it without you. Josh, thanks.
You bet.
Josh is always looking for inspiration to share with you folks at home. Got an idea for In the 608? Reach out, let them know about it.
Let's check it now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warn weather. How's it looking?
Guys, most eyes are on tomorrow, so a warm front, that being the reason why we're so mild this morning. It'll stay the case, though, with temperatures very well above average today, tonight, and tomorrow. That warm front's going to slide north, and Madison and then northward, this green color, Fond du Lac, Watertown, Wisconsin Dells, Camp Douglas, and areas east basically of Black River Falls, Madison, and northward. That's where the focal point tomorrow is going to be for strong to severe thunderstorms. So I do think winds are going to be the biggest threat, although because of the placement of that warm front, if any of those cells can latch onto that, they could quickly turn, and then brief and weak tornadoes would be possible. The hours that we're looking at tomorrow, mid-morning up until the mid-afternoon. So yes, that's actually a little earlier than when we typically see severe weather. That will affect, if you are planning on going to cast your ballot tomorrow, those hours, that peak time frame, midday to mid-afternoon. So just make sure that you have several ways to get watches and warnings. Today we are tracking isolated to scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. Those would be non-severe today at least. They break up, some spotty showers remain in the forecast through the afternoon, and then the heaviest of the rainfall that's going to track in Madison and southward tonight, late this evening into tonight, and then pretty much continue through tomorrow morning. The heaviest of the showers expected to be northwest of Madison tomorrow morning, and then any focal point for severe weather, strong to severe thunderstorms, that would come shortly after this. I think we'll have to really watch that time frame between about 9 a.m. the earliest, lasting till about 4 to 5 p.m., and then showers pretty much break up entirely after that. But we're still tracking some heavy rainfall in the forecast, where we could see a few inches of rain between today and tomorrow. We dry out a little bit, and then another potential soaking rain that moves back in over the weekend. That'll be ahead of the next cold front, and then temperatures dropping shortly behind that into early next week.
A win up in Green Bay yesterday would have gone a long way for the Packers. With the Lions in town, Green Bay had the chance to take sole possession of first place in the NFC North on a rainy day at Lambeau, which meant the ball was going to get slippery. Speaking of, late in the second quarter, Lions up 10-3. Jordan Love lobs one, and it's picked off by Kirby Joseph, the ultimate momentum changer. The Lions outscored the Pack 17-0 in the second. taking a big lead into the break, but shortly after, they were back for more. This time on the offensive side of the ball, Jahmyr Gibbs gobbles up yards and finds pay dirt. Make it 24-3 Detroit, who basically milked the game out from there, although the Pack did add a late Emmanuel Wilson touchdown to make it seem a little bit closer, at least on the scoreboard. 24-14 the final. The Packers start 0-2 in division play for the first time since 2005. They drop to 6-3 overall, but they believe if they can fix a couple of things over the bye week, they can take it to another level.
Definitely very disappointing. You know, those are two games that, you know, we did not play our best at all, but two teams that we'll see again this season.
When you're playing a good football team, you can't have those types of mistakes. It seemed like we had false starts, we had snaps, the ball was on the ground, just way too many mistakes, and you cannot do that against a good football team because they're going to make you pay. And credit to them, they played a clean game.
That's your morning sports fix. Have a magnificent Monday.
Still ahead, Netflix's biggest series is coming back for another season. We'll look at the new trailer.
We're back right after this.
News 3 Now, election night coverage, Tuesday.
During COVID, Joan Balwick took $500,000 in federal loans she never paid back. Then voted to block assistance to help other Wisconsin businesses grow. Joan Balwick, out for herself, not you.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Groppe, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Groppe want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Groppe get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. They raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
When did you know Eric Hovde was wrong for Wisconsin?
Well, that's easy. When he said that people like me were going to die soon, so we shouldn't be able to vote.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
When Hovde said overweight people should pay more for health care.
When I heard he wants to raise the retirement age.
When I heard he's completely against abortion.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. He's not for us.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is China, and this is Wisconsin. Joan Balwick invested thousands of dollars in Chinese companies, but voted against using state funds to help grow companies here in Wisconsin. Joan Balwick, out for herself, not you.
6:23 on your Monday morning. This photo from Gwen. She says another beauty in Jefferson County. There it is. Look at that beautiful sky there.
Lots
it
of
sure
colors.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Gwen, thank you. Continue sending those photos.
Well, trending this morning, the famous Madame Tussauds in New York has a new celebrity on displays that times out very well for the holidays. Take a look at this. A new Mariah Carey statue. The wax likeness of the best-selling female artist of all time comes before the kickoff of Carey's Christmas time tour. Carrie went and checked it out herself. She called her wax twin surreal. Creating the figure took just over 9 months with 20 studio artists sculpting, painting, and carefully capturing Carrie's timeless essence. Quite perfect.
My goodness, it looks so real.
Like when you see a photo of this, it's like almost hard to tell.
Yeah.
At first, I thought that
who.
was her, and it's like, wow, she's really holding it steady.
Could you imagine the pressure, though, of trying to create this,
Oh
and
my
sculpting
gosh.
it, and putting the finishing touches on it, knowing that like she's gonna see it herself?
Like
Very impressive.
They, like I said, I've seen some wax figures that look nothing like the person, but this one,
You
they
can't let
they
the
did their
Christmas
thing.
icon down, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. And that tour, I think, is coming to Chicago. I gotta see those. I gotta see those dates.
I have to hear Joy to the World in person, please.
Please, please, please.
There you go. All right, well, hey, did you hear Netflix just dropped the teaser trailer for the 2nd season of Squid Game? The new installment begins 3 years after the end of the previous game, and South Korean actor Lee Jung-jae, who claimed one of the series' 6 Emmys, is going to come back as game-winning player number 456. You guys watch Squid Game? It was a global phenomenon.
I never got into this.
Never got
Kind of
into
in the
it.
thick of the pandemic. Come on, it was like the most successful thing Netflix ever did.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, it was. I was hooked. Could you tell?
Yeah, I'm like, do you see the passion behind his voice right now?
All right, well, it's back. I know a lot of folks out there will be watching this again. It debuts on December 26th on Netflix, and they said that there's going to be a 3rd season.
Wow.
That'll come out in 2025, so watch out for that too.
Yeah, I bet you that'll be high up on Netflix's most watched.
But this was around like when everybody was binging everything.
Yeah.
Like the Tiger King days, you know, the net.
But it was reading the captions for me. Like, I had to read the captions.
Yeah, you get over that. So, do you guys? This brings up an interesting point. Do you guys watch TV with captions?
Yes,
like
I do.
with the closed captions on at the
No,
bottom?
I do.
can't
but I
stand
have
the
friends that will.
captions.
I do, because I can't hear. I don't know. I had to see.
But then you're looking at the words and not what's actually going on.
No, you got to look at the big picture.
gotta
I
look at
can't
both.
do it. I can't do both. Well, guys, we potentially have some stronger storms to talk about coming up for tomorrow.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
The other side is lying to scare you. Truth is, Joan Ballweg is a champion for women's health care. She fought hard to expand healthcare access for postpartum moms and supports access for IVF and birth control. We're voting for Joan Ballweg because she votes for women like us.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
And the punishment is real. Women denied care, unable to get pregnant again, traumatized, scarred for life. Young women who didn't need to die. Now 1 in 3 women live under a Trump abortion ban. And if he's elected, everyone will.
There has to be some form of punishment.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
We know what Joan Ballweg wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballweg. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
When I was 27, I was diagnosed with MS. That's life-altering news. I had to prioritize my health and start taking medication. Back then, these cost $6,000 a year. Now the generics cost 5 times that. Senator Baldwin claims she's fighting to lower drug prices, but she's taking millions from Big Pharma and works for them. I'm not taking their money. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'll fight the corruption and lower drug prices because I've lived it.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Right now, one last day to reach voters. Where in Wisconsin the campaigns will be stopping today.
Plus, a look at early voting in Wisconsin. Hear from one expert on which candidate might benefit from higher turnout.
Well, good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Actually, when I walked out this morning, I'm like, I really didn't even need this jacket, this heavy jacket I have on.
We got some mild temperatures out there this morning after all the rain yesterday, but things are about to take a little slide.
Just a little bit,
Let's check in with Savannah. She's out of the patio this morning, taking a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Hey there.
Hey guys, the big thing this morning, visibility issues, but yeah, it's very mild outside. That's because of a warm front that'll slide north across southern Wisconsin into central Wisconsin. That actually could play a focal point for strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow. Today, we're not talking about anything strong to severe. Our visibilities are down to about 2 miles just to our southwest, 7 miles in Platteville, 3 in Camp Douglas. That's mainly northwest of Madison, Madison and Dane County. Up to full visibility at 10 miles right now. 61, very mild. Temperatures are not going to warm a lot from where we're sitting right now, but we're still above average, almost double what we usually see for average nighttime temperatures. Later this afternoon, we'll climb the mid to upper 60s. Got a lot of rain yesterday and more rain in the forecast that'll last through your election day tomorrow. We'll time out those storms and when the time frame for strong to severe thunderstorms could occur into your election day tomorrow coming up.
All right, talk then. Savannah, thanks. To our 3 for the People coverage now. 1 day to go until the election day, and that's 1 more day for candidates to make their final case to voters.
Yeah, both presidential campaigns are spending more time in Wisconsin. Vice presidential candidates J.D. Vance and Tim Walz will both be in our state today. Senator Vance will rally supporters at the La Crosse Center this morning at 9:30. He will then travel to Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Governor Walz will make 3 stops in the Badger State today. He will start the day in La Crosse, followed by Stevens Point, and will finish the evening in Milwaukee.
It's an even busier day for names at the top of the ticket. Vice President Kamala Harris has 4 rallies scheduled today, all in Pennsylvania. The last event will be in Philadelphia and will feature Lady Gaga and Oprah Winfrey. Former President Trump, meantime, will visit 3 swing states today. He'll start in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then head to a couple of stops in Pennsylvania. Trump will then finish out the day with a stop in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
This election has already had a record turnout when it comes to early voting. Here in Wisconsin, state election officials last week reported a 40% increase from 4 years ago. On For the Record, we spoke to one data expert who tells us about what early voting says about the overall turnout and which presidential candidate might benefit the most.
And in this year, particularly if you're Donald Trump, he wants a large turnout. The bigger the turnout, the better. And the reason for that is, and all of the polling agrees on this, and the focus groups and everything else, that Donald Trump's strongest support comes from people who rarely vote. So that translates into he needs to get those low propensity voters out to vote.
The U.S. Elections Project says right around 2/3 of eligible voters turned out in the 2020 election. That's up from 60% in 2016. And happening today, jury selection takes place in the trial against 31-year-old Shannon Bussin. She's charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of her grandmother-in-law, Lynn Montgomery. This happened on February 27, 2023. Bussin pleaded not guilty. The criminal complaint says Bussin called 911 when Montgomery fell and stopped breathing. Later exams found Montgomery sustained multiple blunt force injuries and may have been smothered. The complaint states Montgomery left handwritten notes suggesting that Bussin had been hurting her. This trial will take place in the Lafayette County Circuit Court and runs through this week.
New this morning, Sun Prairie police say one person is dead after a collision. It happened last night around 8 o'clock near the intersection of North Bird Street and Vanderburg. Witnesses say a vehicle hit a person sitting in the road. That victim died at the scene. The driver is not hurt and is cooperating with investigators. Police did close some roads around the area. Those are all back open this morning.
Also in Sun Prairie, police are investigating reports of gunfire. Officers responded to multiple calls about the alleged gunfire. It happened Saturday night around 7 near Eastside Elementary School. Sun Prairie police urge anyone with information to come forward. They're particularly interested in hearing from anyone with surveillance footage. The number to call is 608-837-7336.
The Rhinelander Fire Department is mourning the loss of its assistant chief. A Facebook post announced that Assistant Chief Dan Bauer passed away Saturday from a heart attack. On the post, it said that Dan will be sorely missed. His loss leaves a huge hole in our department and our lives. Meantime, support is pouring in from the community nearby Stratford. They released a statement saying that, "Rest easy, Chief. We'll take it from here." The Rhinelander Fire Department will announce arrangements and a family benefit in the near future.
Time now 6:35. If you use the Southwest commuter path, you might have to take a detour. A portion of it will be closed for construction. It's this red stretch that you see here on your screen. This part of the path is just east of Midvale Boulevard. You're advised to take the detour marked in green. That path runs through Yuma Drive and Hiawatha Drive. The closed off portion of the path should be reopened on Wednesday.
Well, the Packers are trying to shake off yesterday's loss to the Lions. Green Bay was on a roll, winning 4 straight. So let's see what happened. Well, first, the conditions were lousy, windy, rainy, and cold. Packers offense struggled in the first half, down 10-3 here. Jordan Love questionable for the game, but he got the start scrambling, and he's going to cough it up. Well, right into the hands of Kirby Joseph, who hangs onto it and takes it all the way in for the score to widen that Lions lead. Third quarter now, Lions 4th and 1 in the red zone. Jahmyr Gibbs rushes right through the middle for the touchdown. Lions' other touchdown also came on 4th down. Painful. Green Bay added a field goal and a touchdown. Wasn't enough, though. Lions go on to win 24-14. Here's Jordan Love and Coach LaFleur after the game.
Definitely very disappointing. Those are 2 games that, we did not play our best at all. But 2 teams that we'll see again this season.
When you're playing a good football team, you can't have those types of mistakes. It seemed like we had false starts, we had snaps, the ball was on the ground, just way too many mistakes. And you cannot do that against a good football team because they're going to make you pay. And credit to them, they played a clean game.
Oh, they really did. So the Packers now head into the bye week with a 6-3 record. You heard Coach LaFleur there say a lot of mistakes in the game. Packers ended up with 10 penalties on the day compared to the Lions' 5. That certainly didn't help. Jared Goff was also phenomenal in the first half. He went on a run where he completed like 13 or 14 for 14 passes. Like he was just on a streak. Just was not enough to get it done yesterday against the Lions. They get a couple weeks now. Hopefully Jordan Love can get in some better shape and finish off the season strong. They're going to need it.
It seems like Love's just been like up and down for at least a few weeks now.
I don't know if anyone's looking forward to that bye week more than he is right now.
Right. Well, let's hope they shake this off and gear up to go. Well, coming up after the break, we introduce you to one nonprofit hoping to help people through food and much more.
We had very heavy rain yesterday, still tracking some widespread rain today. We'll time that out, and tomorrow's storm threat.
Plus, we're talking turkey in the 608 this morning, what we still need for our Thanksgiving basket drive, and how you can help.
I'm a steel worker. I grew up right here on the little family farm.
Trump was here campaigning with Elon Musk. Now, there's a prime example of who he keeps close. Donald Trump cares about his billionaire friends. He's just going to turn around and give them more tax breaks. But Kamala Harris is fighting for the working class. She'll make billionaires pay their fair share. That way, working people get a fair shot. Elon Musk is voting for his money, and I'm voting for mine. And I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm running for the Senate because I love our country, but sometimes I don't recognize it anymore. What is right has become wrong, and what is wrong has become right. Politicians like Tammy Baldwin have led us down the wrong path. It doesn't have to be this way. We can lower the cost of food and medicine, close our border, and stop the flow of deadly drugs. Let's work together to restore the American dream and give our children a brighter future. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
Todd Novak is a compassionate and independent voice for us in the Assembly, but Elizabeth Grobby will tell any lie she needs to get herself elected. Grobby's dishonesty about Todd Novak is shameful. The truth, Todd Novak passed legislation protecting exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother, and voted to expand access to birth control, not ban it. It's time to reject the desperate and ridiculous lies from Elizabeth Grobby and her radical allies. We deserve better. Todd Novak for Assembly.
Growing up here in southeast Wisconsin, hard work and getting things done are in Brian Stiles' DNA. It's why Stiles is recognized as a problem solver in Congress. He's fighting for Wisconsin families every day, combating high prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And Brian Stiles is protecting Social Security and Medicare because you've earned it. Brian Stiles, getting it done for southeast Wisconsin. Fair Shake is responsible for the content of this ad.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back at 6:41. New this morning, a nonprofit is working to expand their good deeds. We're talking about Feed Your Soul this morning. They provide weekly hot meals for folks.
Our Michelle Renee Quinn spoke with organizers. Michelle Renee, what can you tell us?
Well, Chris, Kyrion, Feed Your Soul has one mission, and that's to nourish people in need through feeding their souls with God's word or their body with a home-cooked meal.
Pray. Amen.
Feed Your Soul founder Rick Lowry and his late wife Jennifer started providing physical and spiritual nourishment in 2008.
It was in our heart and soul to help those people in need, because God has given us so much that we wanted to give back.
The nonprofit started when a former pastor asked the couple to consider a community program since they both had experience in the food industry.
Jen had a really big impact on me.
Jennifer passed away in June of this year after a battle with pancreatic cancer, but the mission of serving home-cooked meals in Janesville and Fort Atkinson continues in her honor.
Watching Jen with the people that would come through in the lines, they would wait to talk to her. She always came out with this big smile and just had so much grace. And literally, you would see her reaching into cars to give people hugs and just really taking that time with them and building those relationships.
The hot meal consists of a main entree, side, and homemade desserts. Janesville's Faith Community Church pastor Jeff Williams is on the board of directors of Feed Your Soul. He says this program offers more than just a meal.
This is about connection. It's about community. We think God is love. And so this is a tangible expression of God's love to our community. That's what it's all about. So we don't think we're in the food business. We think we're in the love business.
With the meals, they offer praise and written devotionals for guests.
We're also taking the meals to the homeless on foot.
Since 2008, Feed Your Soul has served over 80,000 meals. They're working on expanding the program to serve the South Beloit community.
We're covering now much of Rock County and going into Winnebago County.
Right now, meals are served Tuesdays in Janesville at Faith Community Church and Thursdays in Fort Atkinson at First United Methodist Church. Now, this program is 100% volunteer-based, so they're still looking for people to help with meal prep, meal cleanup, and even meal drop-off, especially as they're expanding to the South Beloit location.
And how can people reserve a meal?
Yes, so there is a phone number linked to this story on channel3000.com. People can call or text to reserve a meal, but we also have a link. You can click that link and reserve through there as well.
Nice and easy. All right.
Nice and easy.
Michelle Renee, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Burrito, who's here now with your first warn weather. How's it looking out there right now?
It's very mild outside. Winds are calm, but those are going to increase. It'll be pretty breezy today into Election Day, also tracking the potential for a couple of storms. The reason why our temperatures are so mild overnight, in fact, we're usually about 34 to 35 degrees on average for nighttime temperatures. We're well above that, sitting right near that 60-degree mark. Most of us lower 60s across Dane County and southern Wisconsin. A warm front sitting south of here. That's going to play a key role in tomorrow and how far north that it's able to lift. Around that, we could see strong to severe thunderstorms. Most of the rain has broken up, even across northern and central Illinois, but we're going to see some scattered showers move back in. I think by mid to late morning, that's when we're tracking those moving back in, but heavy rain overnight, and then that conditional severe weather threat for tomorrow. We're not going with an alert day yet, but Madison and especially northward, those areas kind of along that warm front have the chance of seeing strong winds and even brief and weak tornadoes. That's midday tomorrow to mid-afternoon, so earlier compared to when we usually see severe thunderstorms. I would say peak time probably looking at 9 to 10 a.m. and then moving out of here by 4 to 5 p.m. So prime hours for Election Day tomorrow. Few spotty showers through the afternoon, and then that heavy rain moves back in late this evening into tonight. Anything that we see tomorrow morning, heaviest thinking northwest of Madison, and then those severe thunderstorms that could move in later mid-morning to mid-afternoon, quickly moving out of here after that, though. So beyond that, I think storm threat and the isolated rain chance kind of moves out of here, the heaviest coming the first portion of the day. After that, we dry up, at least for the time being, mid to late week. Another chance of rain over the weekend with rising temperatures after that brief cool down Wednesday down to 53. So the cooler weather not going to last that long. We stick with an above average temperature trend still going into almost mid-November eventually. I think we'll still be seeing warmer temperatures.
All right, we'll see how those showers and storm chances impact the polls tomorrow with everybody heading out to vote. Savannah, thank you. Hey, in the 608 this morning, we're talking about Thanksgiving, which is 3 weeks from Thursday, if you can believe it. And we need your help feeding families in the 608 over the holiday.
Josh Sprider is here in the studio to tell us how you can make a positive impact. Good morning.
Hey, guys, good morning. We're talking turkey this morning because, as you mentioned, Thanksgiving is just 3 weeks away. We need help getting groceries for thousands of Dane County families ahead of Turkey Day. For the past 36 years, the Dane County, the Goodman Community Center, Thanksgiving Basket Drive has been a tradition with many long-serving staff, volunteers, and their children returning year after year. News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of this event. Each year, we hear from families about how meaningful their Thanksgiving basket is to them. And with the unprecedented need the Goodman Center is seeing in their food pantry, these baskets are going to matter more than ever this year. More than 4,000 families registered for everything needed to prepare a traditional holiday meal. That is more than 25,000 Dane County residents, including more than 10,000 children. Here's a look at what is needed this year. 4,000 frozen turkeys, 8,000 cans of veggies, 4,000 boxes of mac and cheese, 4,000 gravy, 4,000 cans of cranberry sauce, 4,000 broth, 4,000 stuffing, and 4,000 bottles of vegetable oil, along with 4,000 aluminum roaster pans. It's big numbers, guys. Yeah. So because of those big numbers, we need your help in making this happen. Donations can be dropped off at the Goodman Community Center Monday through Friday, the 18th through the 22nd, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Goodman Gym. Then on Saturday and Sunday, November November 23rd and 24th at the Wabisa Street location from 9 to 5. If you want to drop off sooner, that is no problem as well. You can stop by the Goodman Center's Ironworks building any day this month from 9 to 8. However, the Goodman Center is asking you to please save those frozen turkey donations until the week of the 18th. All of this information can be found up right now on channel3000.com. You can also make that financial donation. They can buy in bulk. You can also volunteer your time too. So if you're not able to actually donate a physical item, honestly, volunteers sometimes are just as impactful, especially for something as big as this.
And those dates are coming up quickly, so we have to rally together to really get everything we need.
I mean, we know Thanksgiving, we're going to snap our fingers and it's going to be Thanksgiving week, right?
Yes.
For some of those families and groups looking to volunteer for something like this, spots fill up pretty fast, if I remember right. So if you're looking to, hey, this is a great opportunity to, get out there and give back, some of those slots are going to go quick, so you might as well.
Sooner rather than later. This is one of those things I love to see because the volunteer slots do fill up so quickly. Like a lot of times it's like, we need more volunteers. This one has been around for so long that people are proud to do this year after year with their families.
Part of their tradition.
Yes, it is.
Josh Breiter, good stuff this morning. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, Josh is always looking for inspirational stories to share with you folks at home. You have an idea? Often they end up on TV. Just reach out to Josh and let him know about it.
Well, coming up in the morning sprint, remembering a legendary name in music.
And if you've got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. We're back with the morning sprint right after this.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
I'm Tara, a nurse here in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions. He means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And there are forces in Washington who want to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Hovde gets elected, I worry he'll support that ban that could turn nurses like me into criminals. We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. They raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Your local funeral home since 1869. We are Cress.
All right, 6:53, time for the morning spreads.
Today, both presidential campaigns are making their rounds in Wisconsin. J.D. Vance will rally supporters at the La Crosse Center this morning at 9:30. He then will travel to Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Tim Walz makes 3 stops in the Badger State today. He starts in La Crosse this afternoon. He will then campaign in Stevens Point before finishing this evening in Milwaukee.
Kamala Harris has 4 rallies scheduled for today, all in crucial Pennsylvania. The last event will be in Philadelphia and feature Lady Gaga and Oprah Winfrey. Former President Trump will visit 3 swing states today. He'll start in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then head to a couple of stops in Pennsylvania and finish up rallying in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Happening today, jury selection takes place in the trial against 31-year-old Shannon Busson. She's charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of her grandmother-in-law, Lynn Montgomery. It happened in February of 2023. The trial will take place in the Lafayette County Circuit Court and run through this week.
New this morning, Sun Prairie police say 1 person is dead after a collision. It happened last night around 8 o'clock near the intersection of North Bird and Vanderburg. Witnesses say a vehicle hit a person sitting in the road. First responders pronounced that person dead at the scene. The driver did not suffer any injuries and is cooperating with investigators.
2 people are dead and 1 is injured after a 3-vehicle crash in Windsor. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says the crash happened yesterday morning around 11. It all took place on US 51. Responders transported 1 driver to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They pronounced 2 others dead.
TGI Fridays is filing for bankruptcy protection. The executive chair of the casual dining chain cited the pandemic as being the cause. The company says the bankruptcy only affects the chain's parent company, not the franchises. All restaurants will stay open, including the dozens that are owned by the corporation.
And the world of music is mourning the loss of Quincy Jones. The family of the legendary record producer and composer announced his death overnight. Jones is one of 27 people to have won awards at the Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, and Tonys. He collaborated with big artists such as Frank Sinatra and Michael Jackson. Quincy Jones was 91.
Still going to be very mild outside today, tonight, and into tomorrow. Likely going to set a new record warm low. The forecast 60, our current record low 57, and we have that conditional storm threat for tomorrow. Could see some strong to severe thunderstorms midday to mid-afternoon, or the main things damaging winds and maybe weak brief tornadoes as well.
Okay.
All right, so a little shake up in our weather this week.
Yeah, at least for Election Day tomorrow, unfortunately.
All right, Savannah, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're back in 30 minutes with news and weather update.